Hello, friends, and welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey with college football bowl season just around the corner, the opt-outs, the early declarations already trickling in. It's time for a new 2023 NFL mock draft. I will make note, it's based on the order entering this week of the NFL games, so not factoring in Thursday Night Football because it just gets kind of wonky and things change anyway. Let's begin with pick number 1, the Houston Texans. I know they have needs everywhere. I hear you, Texans fans. Quarterback is one of them. Davis Mills ain't it. I would take Bryce Young number 1, and my mock drafts are built on what I think the NFL wants to do, because that's the whole point, right? You're trying to be accurate, not pick the guys that you like. Young will have some issues with his size. I think right now he should be the number 1 pick, though, over C.J. Stroud, but a lot of time for that to change. And if you want more NFL mock drafts, then like the video. The whole point of doing mock drafts is to explore different scenarios, outcomes, and whatnot. That's why I try to avoid having things always be the same with the same picks until maybe the final one. So if you want more, show my bosses that you do by liking this video right now. Before we get to pick number 2, trade, because trades are fun, and the Bears actually make a lot of sense as a trade-down candidate. So yes, they could find a way to just take Will Anderson or Jalen Carter and be very happy. Instead, I've got the Indianapolis Colts, really Jim Irsay, come and saying, I want my franchise guy. 2 firsts, 2 seconds. The value is a bit in the Bears' favor. Call that the quarterback tax. So it is a quarterback at number 2, C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State. And I am not convinced he ends up going this early. I think there are some doubts in the NFL, but a real chance to showcase his ability in the college football playoff semifinal and potentially national championship. Seattle then is over the moon. They get Will Anderson, maybe the best player in this draft, and the Lions are also super happy because they would love Jalen Carter. I think on most people's boards within the NFL and outside the NFL, one of those 2 guys, Anderson or Carter, will be the highest rated player, the dynamic edge from Alabama, and the disruptive defensive tackle from Georgia. Both fill big needs, are great talents. Seahawks and Lions fans, you're welcome. The Eagles then, number 5. I will make note, the Seahawks pick is from the Broncos, the Lions pick is from the Rams, and this pick is from the Saints. Another edge with some key free agents coming up for Philadelphia. They take Myles Murphy out of Clemson. I want you guys now to do a 2-part ask, all at the pinned comment on today's video, so make sure you're paying attention. In the past, you've asked, grade the mock draft, but I know deep down you only care about what I did for your favorite team. So shout out your favorite team and grade their pick, so I know who you're talking about, right? At the pinned comment, head down there. Could be like, Seahawks A, Colts D, whatever it is. Head down to the pinned comment. Get your favorite team and their pick grade, especially if the ad break comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Go do it right now. Panthers at number 6. I thought about going quarterback here, but I know many of our Panthers fans don't want me to do that, so I'm going to be nice here because Levis and Richardson, we'll get to them later on. Tyree Wilson, though, is a dynamic edge at Texas Tech. It'd be a flaw. I would love his fit with Brian Burns on the opposite end, another high-end defensive piece. Carolina's in a weird spot. We'll know more once they hire their next head coach. Keely Ringo out of Georgia. A lot of early buzz linking the Jags to a corner. Not sure how much longer Griffin's going to be there. Put him on the outside. A lot of high-end traits with size and ball skills you love to see. Arizona has very few tackles under contract. Paris Johnson's played right side and left side. Plug him in wherever with my boy Olufashinu going back to Penn State, which, God, it pains me dearly. But, hey, good for him. Johnson will be, I think, the top tackle taken. A name we'll get to, though, in a little bit, also in that conversation. So number 9, the Bears trade down here. And they tried to get that 3 technique in free agency last year. They tried to sign Larry Ogunjobi. Bryan Bresee would be that piece for them. Now, maybe he goes early and you settle for Tyree Wilson or a Myles Murphy, but an extra second to recoup what you lost for Chase Claypool, +1 next year, first-round pick, and you still get Bryan Bresee. I think that's a great result there for the Chicago Bears. Today's edition of NFL Daily is made possible by Rocket Money, and maybe you've had a tough time. I know I have, trying to cancel a subscription at any point because things are so challenging from that standpoint. It makes life a lot harder than it needs to be sometimes. But Rocket Money is helping you change that. They keep track of all your expenses all in one place to make it just a little bit easier to cancel your subscriptions. Instead of having to call, or maybe you forgot your password, didn't even realize you were being charged, we got to try to log in, pain in the butt, right? Not anymore. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place, then cancels for you whatever you don't want. That's why I love using Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. It can even find subscriptions you didn't know you're paying for, or maybe even double charged for. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do, hit cancel. They take care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions now with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/NFL Daily. It could seriously save you hundreds of dollars per year. That's rocketmoney.com/NFL Daily. Link, by the way, is in the comment section and the description on today's video. Make sure you're not getting charged for stuff you don't want, especially with inflation on the rise. rocketmoney.com/NFL Daily. Christian Gonzalez next up here, the Oregon corner. I'm a big fan of his game. When teams don't throw at you, I think that means you're pretty damned good. Another corner opposite A.J. Terrell. I love that fit for the Falcons. Now, Peter Skoronski doesn't fit the Packers' typical MO of size, especially length requirements. That will be an issue. Some teams might view him as a guard, but especially if they let Elton Jenkins walk, there's a potential left guard option for Green Bay. Plus, there is some ties between the Northwestern organization and the Packers org as well. The Raiders taking Trenton Simpson here. The top linemen are gone. The top edges are gone. Interior D linemen, not a great spot for Vegas here. But an impact linebacker who can do some coverage, run-stopping blitz, that fits what they need. Houston takes Bryce Young at number 1. Then they take Jordan Addison at number 13. Who here thinks Brandon Cooks is going to be on the team next year? I don't think he's gone. Getting another impact receiver, helping to develop your quarterback is what smart teams do. Take the quarterback, take the receiver. Addison would then get to go from Kenny Pickett to Caleb Williams to Bryce Young, 3 first-round picks, in theory, he'd be playing with. Who is your favorite 2023 NFL draft prospect? Let me know in the comments section. Maybe it's Addison. Maybe it's someone not even on this list. Or this mock draft, I should say. Whatever prospect that is, head down to the comment section and let me know. I wonder if Steelers fans are going to say it's Joey Porter Jr. And the corner's a need still, and the other top 2 corners are off the board. Why not take the son of the Steelers legend and plug him in for Pittsburgh? This makes too much sense. This might be a touch early for Cam Smith at number 15 if we look back in a couple months or whatnot. But I do want one more corner, and this is the last corner I've got going until the final pick of round 1, by the way. Number 16, the Chargers. I don't love the tackles quite that much for them. Defensive help, not quite working out. How about a tight end? Sorry, Trey McKitty, I don't think he's it in L.A. Michael Mayer, along with Justin Herbert, I love that tandem. Michael Mayer's not a fantastic guy. He's not a premier athlete. He's no Kyle Pitts, but he gets open, he blocks, he catches. He's going to be a reliable pro for a long time. Quentin Johnston is next up here, the TCU wide receiver who I love. And this could be your Devontae Parker replacement if you don't bring him back for New England. I know the N'Keal Harry thing that did not work out. Johnston's much better. All right, time for quarterbacks. And I'm going to hate these, not evals, and we'll just group them together here. Will Levis to the Commanders, Anthony Richardson to the Bucks. I'm not going to hate doing the evals. I'm going to hate doing the valuations. Allow me to explain what I mean the differences there. The figuring out who the prospects are is not that hard. They're both some similar traits, right? They're not very accurate. The production's not what you want. They had down years. There's big moments and bad moments as well. Very inconsistent, high floors, low ceilings. Both are good athletes, strong arms. I think Levis is a little bit more polished, his like accuracy and whatnot, but he's got low moments. And Richardson has a friggin' massive arm, and he's a great athlete, but he completed like a really bad percentage of his throws. There were games he was almost useless as a thrower. It's tough. There's a lot of boomer bust here. So you can eval those players. Where the hell do you draft them? Upset, like you can watch film. I'll go with Anderson because I'd rather have Richardson over Levis myself because of the upside. You can watch one game of Richardson and go, this guy's the best player in the class. And then one game and go, he shouldn't even be drafted. And that level of difference is really hard to figure out where the hell you take him. But teams are desperate for QB, so I put him in round 1. I don't know where they go. We'll have to wait and see on that front. Because of the upside with Richardson, I think is younger too, by the way, I think I'd take him over Levis, even because there are some similarities in the prospects. Who would you rather take? WL for Will Levis, AR for Anthony Richardson. You got to pick one. Who is it? Let me know in the comment section. Seattle double dips at linebacker here. They take Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. Former Bama to Arkansas transfer, can blitz, a bit bigger size, kind of almost, I think, great in a 3-4 scheme. Love the fit in Seattle. All right, Broderick Jones, number 21, the Tennessee Titans. I know the Titans fans, I know the last time you drafted a Georgia offensive tackle in round 1, it went really bad. This will be different because it literally can't be any worse. Jones can play left tackle or right tackle, both of which are needs in Tennessee, at least long term. Brian Branch, the Jets. LaMarcus Joyner's a free agent. I think he's a fun kind of chess piece at the safety position. He might need to be a quarterback, but they were off the board here. I'm not putting Tanner McKee in round 1, so impact safety at number 22 here. The New York Giants at number 23. How about some speed on the outside? Wan'Dale Robinson can play some slot for you. You might not bring back Darius Slayton. How about Jalen Hyatt, who can also play some slot for you? Robinson can do a bit of both, kind of like in that Sterling Shepard mold, I think. Hyatt is a burner, would be a fun fit in that Giants offense for whoever their quarterback is next year. We will have tons of NFL draft coverage for you right here on Chat Sports. So if you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribed so I can keep feeding my family and doing draft videos. Hit that red button or the black and white if you're on the new version of YouTube. Number 24, Antonio Johnson, the A&M safety. I know they got some other safety pieces. I'm unconvinced they'll go edge again. Johnson's kind of that overhang guy. Could replace the Kareem Jackson mold. I think it's a fun fit. The Ravens, please, I'm begging you, get a good receiver for Lamar Jackson. I think Rashad Bateman could be one, but he's hurt again. Smith and Jigba might only be a slot, but I think that's a better number 2, number 3 option than Devin Duvernay and injured Tylan Wallace. All right, back-to-back AFC North here. Darnell Washington, the Georgia tight end. Not even a starter, technically, since Brock Bowers handles that role. You don't find people who move and look like Washington. Roughly 6'7", 270, and he looks like he's 20 pounds lighter. He carries that weight so well, a fantastic blocker, red zone threat, not great production. There's a lot of untapped upside here in Washington for a late round 1 pick. Jared Verse, the transfer to Florida State, I thought I was going to put him earlier, and there was just kind of the way the board fell was a big gap in edges, so he slides to 27, which I'm sure KC loves. Number 28. Bijan Robinson, the Texas running back. Robinson is going to be I don't even know if it's an eval situation or a value situation. It's who ends up taking him. Because we know the player's great. Highly productive career at Texas. Does everything you want as a running back, 3-down style. We also know that the value of backs is lower. Although I think in the modern too-high shell defensive coverage, there actually is more value to run the football than there was even just a couple years ago. But who's taking the running back in round 1? There aren't that many teams who want to do that because it's easier to find running backs later than it is other positions. It's tougher to find that good lineman, the good defensive back, the receiver, even the safety linebacker. It's tough. And the Chiefs know that because we saw it happen with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So prediction time. Who will draft Bijan Robinson? I'm sure we'll know more once free agency wraps up with who's looking that way. I didn't have a great feel. I think in the end, it's probably a playoff team, and they benefit from getting to take Bijan back in round 1. Get those predictions in for me in the comment section. I got Nolan Smith here pretty much just because of the value involved of getting him so late. Injured, I know. Daniil Hunter might not be back, so I'm getting the value for Minnesota. Osiris Torrance, the run-blocking, mauling offensive guard, back end, kind of more of a round 2 guy, but when we're in the 30s, there were no true round 1 players really available. Torrance out of Florida goes to the Bills. And Clark Phillips, one of my guys, undersized, might be a nickel in the NFL, but he's a gamer, man. He makes plays on the football despite the size. Reminds me of Roger McCreary, who I also loved out of Auburn last year. We'll go quick here as, hey, first-round pick, I still love you guys, though, all 5 teams. So the Rams, Andre Carter out of Army, kind of a real Army top 75 play. Let that sink in. Pass rusher, not as good this year, though. Kalijah Cansey, the Pitt defensive tackle, undersized, around 6 foot, 280. That sounds very familiar coming out of Pitt. Not the same caliber of player, but top 50-ish, good fit there for the Saints. Mozzie Smith, or Maisie Smith, as I have to call him, because Maze, Michigan color. Also has the weapons charge going on with him right now for the Wolverines, but the Browns need interior help. There are a lot of good DTs in that day 2 range. I went with Darnell Wright here out of Tennessee to the Dolphins. There's your right tackle. I think right tackle style, I should say, for the Volunteers. Not a perfect prospect, some movement issues, but he does a good job of shielding off defenders. And then Blake Freeland, who I like a bit more than most, I think, out of BYU. I think he is because he was there. Quick note, when I get to round 2 and round 3, I just plug it in the sim and ignore the ones that don't make any sense, who are still there or shouldn't be there at all. So Freeland was there in round 3, so I did that one. I think he's a good player. There's maybe your Trent Williams future left tackle because he's not going to be able to play forever, unfortunately. Some more names that I like, but I'm going to get to here in a moment. Remember, if you haven't already, shout out your team with the pin comment and grade their pick. Go do that right now. 5 names on defense, then 5 on offense I want to show some love to. Devin Witherspoon, Jalen Jones, highly productive corners this year for Illinois and A&M, who I like in that top 50 range. Felix Enudike-Uzama, who has really grown up at Kansas State from a physical standpoint. He's a good player. Lucas Van Ness, lots of edges this year. It's a deep class. Siaka Ika, the Baylor defensive lineman. If you want that run-stopping nose guard, that's your guy. Offensively, Jahmyr Gibbs, who was kind of Bama's best receiver, which speaks to the talent they had in offense. Not the same normal talent level there at Bama. Josh Downs, kind of that speedy slot from North Carolina. Anton Harrison, Oklahoma tackle, was pretty good this year. DeJuan Jones, the OSU right tackle. And I am not high on Tanner McKee, but that's the other name to monitor beyond the big 4, if we include AR, in terms of potential early round quarterback picks. Lots of names I didn't get to, I know. So who did I leave off of this NFL mock draft? Simply let me know in the comments section. Drop that prospect name once we get to December, I really start to kind of dig in on prospects. I'm sure there's some good names that I'm looking forward to watching this year.